In the news tonight, the Ministry of Health hoping for increased uptake of paediatric COVID-19 vaccines. Security concerns ahead of the start of the new school term. A clinical psychologist wants more attention paid to the issue of suicide in Barbados. And in sports, the Royals take over first place in the CPL with today's win over TKR.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, health officials are reporting a low turnout for children receiving the Pfizer COVID-19 pediatric vaccines. The Ministry of Health began administering the vaccines to children ages 5 to 11 last Thursday after receiving a donation of over 14,000 doses. However, Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George says the large numbers expected have not materialized.
I have checked in with the vaccination team, and the rollout is a bit slow. I don't have the figures in front of me, but the expectation for large numbers has not panned out. But I would imagine that as we get closer to the beginning of the school term, which is on the 19th, there will be a greater uptick.
Dr. George says while children do not need to be vaccinated to return to school, the ministry will be looking at different ways to introduce the vaccine.
I would just like to encourage people. It's not a requirement for getting into school under any circumstances, but as I've always said, it adds an added level of protection. As we move out of COVID, the numbers are coming down. And again, we as a ministry need to get on with the other public health issues that grapple us, including the agenda with NCD, the agenda with other childhood preventable vaccinated illnesses, and other areas that are important to the Ministry of Health, such as HIV/AIDS, IHR, and environmental health.
Well, there's good news and bad news about the COVID situation in Barbados tonight. The good news is that the COVID-19 positivity rate is decreasing, and that would explain the 72 positive cases reported for yesterday. They came from the 485 tests conducted by laboratories across the island. The bad news, however, is that the death toll has increased by 9. 2 men aged 87 and 89 passed away from the virus today, and according to the coroner's office, another 7 people died within the community in the last 2 weeks. As a result, the COVID-19 death toll has now reached 555. 52 people are currently in isolation facilities, while 682 were in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, 154,458, or 67.6% of the eligible population, are fully vaccinated. The costliness of repairs to the existing geriatric hospital is among several reasons provided for why a new facility should be constructed. Manager of the hospital, Heather Payne-Drakes, highlighted the challenge during a town hall meeting on the proposed construction and design of a new hospital, which is currently ongoing. She says the feasibility of continuous upgrades to the building is simply not tenable.
In 2018, 2 out of the 18 wards were refurbished at an approximate cost of just over $200,000. This work was done in partnership with the Barbados Defence Force, and as a result, most labor costs were not included in this expenditure. The work involved extensive roof repairs, plumbing, and electrical upgrades due to the age of the building. The feasibility of such renovations therefore cannot continue. With the renovation of 2 wards, clients were able to be absorbed into the remaining 18 wards, and this impacted admissions and resulted in some overcrowding, compromising quality of care.
Ms. Payne-Drakes says the Beccles Road facility's proximity to the coast is also a concern, given the possibility of a storm surge during bad weather.
Plans are in place, however, to execute an evacuation with the assistance of the National Emergency Services, including the Barbados Defence Force, the police and fire services, and also the Transport Board. However, such an undertaking would prove to be a major disruption, in effect to relocate 278 elderly clients over a 48-hour period, with over 70% of these clients requiring assistance for mobility, either by wheelchair or stretcher. The event, or such an event, would be disoriented to the clients themselves and could also impact on their health status.
The Barbados Union of Teachers is worried about the escalating violence in Barbados as children prepare to return to the classroom. President Rudy Lovell says it is extremely concerning because many schools do not have security.
We note that some primary schools are without security guards, and students and teachers at these schools are exposed to various uncertainties. There have been instances reported by members and even on record in the media of violent crimes perpetrated in close proximity to schools. It is against this backdrop that we urge those in authority to be proactive and not wait until something happens to respond to this issue.
While indicating they will be returning to the classroom despite some concerns, Mr. Lovell also asked for a better turnaround time in notifying teachers they've been transferred to another school.
The Barbados Union of Teachers is concerned about the annual practice of teachers being transferred with as little as 1 week's notice, which in many instances does not allow them time to make adequate family arrangements, especially for their children, many of whom end up being disadvantaged due to the relocation. Once again, the BUT calls for the stipulated notice of 6 weeks to be given to facilitate a smooth relocation for all teachers. At a recently held meeting, the BUT membership indicated they are ready to return to the classroom, amidst a few concerns regarding the proposed structure outlined by the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training.
Well, CBC News reached out to education officials for a response, but we've been unsuccessful so far. We'll take a break here, but coming up on NewsNight, officials reporting success with a program to teach Barbadians how to swim. Stay with us. More than 200 Barbadians of all ages head to Browns Beach each week for swimming lessons. They're part of the Learn to Swim program organized by the National Conservation Commission and the National Sports Council with the aim of getting Bajans comfortable being in the water. Raul Eversley is one of the instructors.
The whole thing is to get most of Barbados, if not all of Barbados, in the water and learn to swim. The people have actually told us that they are seeing the benefits of coming down here and learning to swim. It's helping them a lot with mobility and breathing. The core, a lot of them have said that the core have become better, and the initiative is working.
8-year-old Soraya Brathwaite is one of the youngest swimmers. She has her eyes set on being a junior Olympian one day and says these classes are definitely helping.
I'm learning stuff that I have never learned before. Bubbling in deep parts, swimming in deep parts, swimming from shallow parts to deep parts.
Well, on the other end of the age scale, Beverly Borrow says she's learning the various styles of swimming in an effort to stay active.
The sea has so many life-giving benefits that the program, of course, as a senior now, is working your muscles. You know, swimming is one of those programs that look after or take care of every aspect of the body. Your mind, your physical, your arms, your legs, everything is going, coordination, everything. So it has tremendous benefits.
Three brothers with a love for the arts have banded together, forming their own company and are collaborating on projects showcasing their multiple talents. The Charles brothers, Sergio, Alexi and Nikolai, helped transform a blank wall outside of the St. Philip Polyclinic, one of the parish community mural projects facilitated by the National Cultural Foundation. It celebrates Barbados' 55th anniversary of independence and its transition to parliamentary republic status. Sergio Charles says they believe in the arts and promoting it.
We want it to be something that young people can see as a viable career, so that people don't just see it as a hobby. You know, these people like to paint, or these people like to do graphics, or these people like to do photography. But we want them to be able to see, you know, there's a ways of making money, is a way of communicating, is a way of marketing and advertising. And, you know, I think it's really going to be a good opportunity for people to see that art is, you know, great, just like any other career.
There's a suggestion Barbados needs to pay more attention to the issue of suicide in Barbados. It's coming from clinical psychologist Dr. Marcus Lashley. Anne-Marie Bailey has that story.
The statistics are staggering. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, a death by suicide occurs every 11 minutes in the United States, and nearly 800,000 die by death by suicide every year, classifying it as a public health crisis and a leading cause of death in many countries. Officials say Barbados does not have up-to-date statistics on death by suicide, but clinical psychologist Dr. Marcus Lashley says it's a concern here and calls for national discussion on the issue, citing 3 deaths within less than 10 days earlier this year.
Any and everyone can be subjected to a mental health challenge at any point in time. All it takes is for you to lose a relative or someone close to you, or a job that gave you a degree of security. Anything can challenge your mental health at any time. And we're always just one breath away from that.
And Dr. Lashley sees the need to shine the light on suicide prevention within the context of intimate relationships.
And then rests on the shoulder of the other person in the relationship to begin to monitor the mental health of that person. And the person who is mentally challenged in the context of potential suicide may say, well, if you leave me, I will kill myself. And that's seen as a threat, yes, but sometimes by the other person as a way of controlling the relationship. And it is not taken as seriously as it should, being more sensitive to the fact that this person has a limited way of asking for help.
Dr. Lashley urges Barbadians to recognize those who reach the point of suicide are not weak, but need support. Meanwhile, couple and family therapist Jomo Phillips has posted a video on his Instagram channel offering practical ways to support those contemplating suicide.
We can listen, be supportive, ask questions, latch on to the person's ability to live. Very often people who are suicidal are ambivalent. There are reasons for them to live and there are reasons for them to die or contemplate dying. One of the things that we want to do is that we want to explore with them why they want to live, and we want to stress that.
As the world prepares to mark World Suicide Prevention Day on September the 10th, under the theme Creating Hope Through Action, Dr. Lashley reminds Barbadians help is available through various channels while urging society to be kinder to those who are struggling. Anne-Marie Bailey, CBC News.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In tonight's business, Barbados will soon have a certified honey judge. He's beekeeper with the National Conservation Commission, David Small. Now, he's just returned from training in the United States and told the Business Report the presence of a honey judge in Barbados would raise the standard of the product.
Honey judging is critical in terms of when you're producing your honey. You have to look, it doesn't have any stuff, any dirt, or any foreign material as a matter of fact. which will all go as well if we want to produce and export our product.
Mr. Small says beekeeping is a growing industry in Barbados, and a number of young people have recently completed apiary courses.
The training that has been done so far, I think we have about 60-something people who are trained so far. What we have to do is find out how many people that were trained have bees, and find out how far they have gotten with the bees if they start producing honey, and what would they intend to become commercial or just hobbyists in terms of beekeeping.
Local company Abeds has been assisting young people with the transition from the classroom to the workplace. This time around, the company has provided part-time employment for several youth between the ages of 16 and their early 20s. Operations Director Alex Abed said they brought in people from June to fill several roles.
We would have brought on, I would say, maybe 25 to 30 young people all over, from on the sales floor to helping in the stock room at both locations. Our youngest is probably 16 and the eldest 19, 20.
And two of the young assistants, Shay Blackman and Sinara Thompson, have been sharing their experiences with us.
The work has been fine, everybody is cooperative, and it's a good work environment. I work behind the cash desk, and what I do, I buy the items and I give the cashier the money and give back the customer the change. And any other inquiries that persons may want, in addition to any other work in the store, I would participate and do.
This is my first sales clerk job, so it has been different from my other jobs, but I like it because it's different dealing with the customers and then dealing with the staff, so it has been a good experience.
Resume our sports coverage with basketball, with the young Burger King Clapham Bulls running circles around the Kings last evening when both teams clashed in the BABA Under-19 Summer Jam tournament at the Wildy Gym. CBC's Sean Green reports.
The young Bulls in the red taking on the Kings. A turnover early in this game allows the Bulls to get some space. Mackay McGarry with an easy layup. Rory Taylor trying to formulate some form of attack, but when that initial plan didn't work, he took matters into his own hands, sinking this one from downtown. Bulls with some quick passes, finding Taylor once more, drives and pulls up, allowing gravity to complete the mission. Wait, another turnover. The fast break finds Daniel Gibbs, who feeds Nicholas Thorne, and he has no trouble putting this one away. But Kings would have their moments. LeRon Bowen with the ball, the drive, the layup, and the bucket. And just look at this clean shooting from beyond the arc. That's Simeon Maynard with the swish. The Kings with the ball, and just so the steal, and Julian Ford could not be stopped, kissing the glass for 2 more points for the Bulls. Now Kings again with possession, finding a hard time to mount any sort of offense. And wait, is that another turnover? A familiar player in this game, it seems. And of course, it results in yet another 2 points for the Bulls, who were all over the Kings like a battle rash at this stage. And this one was really a one-sided affair from start to finish, as the Bulls stampeded the unimpressive Kings, winning 69-20. Sean Green, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Sean. And in another game, the Station Hill Cavaliers dismissed the Northside Ballers 57-34.
Well, that's our news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.
Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.